All right, we are here taking a look at Six Arms, Six Shots, and I'm joined by Sam. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing good. Yeah, unfortunately, John couldn't make it. He's my partner in crime, Jonathan Drain, greatest artist of our generation. He's responsible for most of the art you see in the game. This is actually our biggest game jam yet, so we had 5 people on the team for this one.
Yeah, wow. So were you the sort of primary developer?
Yeah. I I came up with. I actually kind of vetoed. We did a huge brainstorming session, and I kind of vetoed all their ideas, and I said, "No, we're doing this one." Just because everyone was busy. We couldn't like brainstorm together, and I wanted to get started. We were wasting time. Uh, so we have a lot of actually like great ideas for this jam, and I think it was one of the best themes yet, honestly. Last year's theme kind of sucked. The roll of the dice one. I'm not gonna lie, that one was super boring, but this one was. I love this one.
Oh my goodness. So you have to get a punch kill in order to get your gun back after you drop it, right? That's the idea?
Yeah.
Oh, why am I stuck?
You picked the hardest level. This is the worst level to pick as your first one.
Okay. Um, I also don't know
Oh,
why I was stuck there, but uh,
me
which
neither.
is which is an easier starting level?
I think Vermilion's Belt is the easiest.
Okay, let's give it a try. I'm a little worried that I'm going to get motion sick because of the amount of camera movement in the game.
Yes, I was thinking about that too as soon as I talk to you about this. Um,
Oh,
yeah, if it's too much, it's alright.
okay. Um, I like the little RIP sign that is left in the wake of every dead enemy.
Yeah, I love. I was watching, that one Flanders talk everyone always talks about, where he talked about permanence, and that's something I've never really done before. So it's getting to at least try that out. So yeah, we got the little corpses, and I mean the cans I didn't have time to place in every level. Though. Like the levels, I like believe me when I say the levels were an afterthought. Like I designed 4 levels in about 10 minutes, and there was 10 minutes left in the jam. Thank God for the extension. I'm pretty sure we would have actually missed the deadline.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this one was down to the wire.
Yeah, so why don't we get into the questions then? You've already sort of started talking about your development process. So how how did that go? I mean, you were actually. How about we give a little bit of context? So who all were the different people working on the game this time? So it was you as the
Uh,
programmer.
yeah, I was kind of lead programmer. Then we had Triple Cubes, which is a guy I met on Discord, I think, or Reddit or something like that. Anyway, he comes from a C++ background. He's super good at like algorithms and like that kind of programming stuff. So he wrote like the pathfinding for this game.
Mhm.
A lot of them were like data heavy stuff like that. Whereas I did a lot more of like effects and gameplay programming.
Mhm.
And that worked out really well. And then we had 2 artists this time, which is John, the classic. I've been working with him since 2020, I think, filed together for the first game we made together.
Nice.
So that
Was
came
that tiled
today.
together?
So almost exactly 3 years now. And then yeah, Alvaro, he does our music he's done it for a year or 2 now. We've been with him. He's super good. Like we tell him, oh my god, we told him we wanted the 2 tracks for this one, and he delivered. So if you notice, I don't have the stream audio on because I don't know how loud it is, but when you get hit, basically there's 2 audio tracks playing simultaneously. This is the first Rogapol game with adaptive audio. So I'm super excited about this.
Nice.
Um, so when you get hit, the second track it fades into it, so they're always playing kind of simultaneously.
Mhm.
So they're synced up all the time, and it fades into the other one, which is kind of like a remix at double the BPM, so it's a lot more frantic.
Oh, cool.
Uh, and yeah, I was super proud of that. I don't know if anyone even noticed. No one mentioned it in the comments, but I was super happy with that.
Nice. Um, all right, and then so you were kind of working
So
together
yeah,
to
I
do
kind of went on a
the.
tangent, but yeah, that's the 5 people.
Yeah,
Me,
yeah.
John, Alvaro, Triple Cubes, and Steph is the secondary artist.
And then, like, how did you actually like trade duties on development?
On programming, it was
Yeah.
basically like when I went to bed the first night, I kind of left a list of what needed to be done.
Hmm.
And she did a bunch while I was sleeping the first night, so I managed to get like a full 16 hours of sleep this jam, and we still got the game out, which is awesome. Barely, like I said, to be honest with the deadline, so maybe I should have slept a little less, but so yeah, he got most of the stuff done I had on the list, like while I was sleeping. I woke up and the game was almost finished, and I was like, okay, this is sweet. Um, I added a bunch of stuff, and then from there on, I would just like if it was something really hard, like the pathfinding that like I didn't really know how to do, um, I would just send it to him. I'd be like, hey, can you write a pathfinding algorithm? He's like, yeah, no problem. He's the best. Oh my god.
Awesome. I'm super glad that you were able to like. So were you just like in very different time zones, or?
Um, I don't know what time zone he's in. We asked him one time, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I pretty much never sleep. It's like you can talk to me anytime. It's all
Oh
good."
my
So
god.
yeah, I don't even know what time zone he's in, but yeah, he's always online. I don't know how he does it.
So is the name behind the game like the idea that we have like our character has 6 arms and therefore you can fire 6 shots, or?
Yeah, well, this is John and his. I kind of come up with the game idea, and he makes up like the wackiest themes for it. So he wanted to do a game about cowboy aliens.
Yeah.
So he came up with like a space revolver has 6 shots, and the character is like a tentacle alien, so he's got 6 tentacles, and yeah, it's just kind of based on the character. Epilepsy. Yeah, I know the flashing is too much. I added that in at a simpler time when there was less enemies and less shooting going on, and it seemed good. And then, like I said, I made the levels at the last second, and there's so many enemies that it's just flashing all the time. I'm gonna remove the flashing after the jam. Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, I mean, there's like it is nice in terms of the like the game juice feeling, but it is also just like it can get overwhelming. Like I think you want to maybe limit the amount of time that has to pass, or maybe even just reduce the intensity of any individual flash.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I started at half a past here. I actually already did reduce the time, like at the last second, because I knew it was going to be too much. So it used to be like almost twice as long for every shot. So yeah, I'm really glad I did that. But I should have brought it back a little more.
So was the what I know you were saying that like John was kind of inspired by the like sort of 6-shooter pistol that you have, but did you have any plans to like well, I guess I should just ask, like, is there any inspiration to the game aside from that? Because I don't really see a connection to the theme, like, as the game exists right now, but was there a time sort of in the game's earlier development where you had more plans to follow the, like, role reversal?
Yeah, absolutely. The theme, well, so the idea was kind of, rather than just doing, because we thought about a lot of what a lot of people did, which is just a twist on an arcade game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of great ideas you can do with that, but I wanted to do something kind of deeper in that you are kind of just hunting down all these bounties, and then you get hit, and all of a sudden you're the one being hunted, so you lose your gun, and the music becomes more frantic, and the enemies kind of close in on you, and you have to sort of run away, and it becomes a lot more passive. Originally, we were talking about like stealth elements too, like you'd be hiding from them. Kind of like, what is it, Die Hard, like sneaking through the vents, trying to get your one kill so you can get your gun back.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of that stuff got cut, and now it's lost on a lot of people. It's still kind of there, like I said, we got the music, you lose your gun, but it doesn't feel as like scary as it should when you don't have your gun, you know?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like when you don't have your gun, it depends on what situation you're in. Because like there are absolutely situations where you're kind of okay if you lose your gun, and then there's situations where you're completely surrounded. If you don't have your gun, you're just kind of doomed.
And the gun dash, the sort of the dash that comes with it, was meant to be more of like a running away kind of thing, but people end up using it a lot more aggressively. Which I don't blame them. Like it's more useful that way, but that was not the kind of, or the original intention was to use that to kind of dodge bullets and run away and get to safety. But
Wait, what's the button for dash?
yeah, it's, well, when you punch, you kind of run forward, right? But if you
okay, I
use
see.
that, you can run away from enemies too.
And then is there any way to see what your HP is when it's like, or you only see it when you take a hit?
Yeah, you can only see it when you don't do gun. That was kind of a last second thing too, because at first there was no HP indicator, so you just have to remember, which is obviously not the best. Oh, these little cans, yeah, this is what I was talking about. They're missing on the other one, but if you shoot those, they kind of just fall over and stay there until the end of the level, which is kind of a neat little permanence thing.
Yeah, I didn't actually...
And the enemy bullets can hit them too, so...
Right, so you really get like
just
the evidence of a shootout having transpired.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so... I guess we've covered the inspiration, we sort of started talking about the development process, but I feel like we didn't finish talking about it. You just sort of mentioned going to sleep at the start, and then a lot of the game was done.
Yeah, for sure. I worked on, like me personally, I mean, I added all the art in, I implemented the art, the gun rotating, that was kind of based off of, oh my god, what's it called? The Vlambeer game I was talking about earlier. Not Enter the Gungeon, I keep wanting to say
Nuclear Throne?
Nuclear Throne, yes, exactly. That's kind of where the gun, and a lot of it actually, we were inspired a lot by Nuclear Throne, I'd say. What else did I do? I did, so like the Triple Cubes did the enemy pathfinding, and then I worked, I'd say the AI was 50-50. Yeah, she did most of it. I did some of the enemy AI. I did, so like they can hear your gunshots, so if you shoot off and they're within whatever range, they'll go to the location where they heard that shot at. Yeah, that's it. We wanted to make them more aggressive too. Like when you lose your gun, they all kind of close in on you, and that would kind of help with the theme, but that ended up being too much. Yeah, I did the different enemy types, all the effects people complain about, like the camera shake and the flash. I did all that. Oh wow, that's a bad situation.
Yeah, I got completely surrounded. So I do notice...
See, you went from the hunter to hunted. Your role was first.
I do notice that sometimes I take damage, but I don't drop my gun.
Yeah, that's like your so you have a bullet out that gets a kill. You know what I mean? Like you get hit,
you've already
you use
shot,
your gun, then your bullet gets a kill, and any kill gives your gun back, not just the melee, which is kind of a bug. But
yeah, I wasn't sure why that was happening that way.
No, yeah, it's just because anytime an enemy dies, you'll get your gun back. Which, yeah, it should only be on melee kills, but you know, game jam things.
Yeah. I could even imagine like a slightly more strict version of the HP system where like you maybe only have 1 HP, like you get 1 free hit when you drop your gun, and then you have to like get your gun back or else the second hit kills you.
That's what I wanted to do, but I thought that would be too hard for a game jam.
Huh. I mean,
so I gave the second HP 1 extra.
I mean, what it could allow for though is the possibility that like, because right now like you can if you have your gun, does it count as like you get like a free hit as long as you have your gun?
Yep. Yeah. If you get hit with your gun, so it'll get rid of all bullets on screen, so you can't get hit again and again.
I see. Yeah.
Instantly. It does the little slow-mo thing, which I thought was
Yes.
super cool. I spent a lot of time on that too. And then enemies will not shoot for like, I think it's like 0.3 or 0.4 seconds, just so you can. That with the slow-mo kind of gives you time to get your bearings right. Oh, another thing. Sorry, I just remembered for inspirations. This is I know a while ago, but one of the biggest things was I was looking through the GMTK Discord right as soon as the theme dropped, and someone said something about. I screenshotted the thing because I thought this was a genius comment. Someone said, I can't stop thinking about how in Pac-Man when you get the big dot, you start chasing the ghosts around, right? Like that is a role reversal, and that's kind of the main thing where the idea came from. But it's like the opposite. Like you have the power pellet, and when you get hit, you lose it.
Yeah, I guess I do appreciate the fact that you have those extra hits. Like I'm sort of glad to hear that you already have the game implemented the way I was going to suggest, where like you sort of have the one hit invulnerability.
Yeah. You yeah, you can get hit twice, like in the same instant. You have to actually take 2 separate hits.
I got to admit, my strategy for playing the game right now is mostly just kind of shoot at stuff that's off screen or too far that they're not shooting at me.
Yeah. Especially on this level with the long hallways. I thought this one was cool. I wanted to make it like a maze, but it's a bit confusing, but it connects back a lot, so I don't think it's too, like, people get too lost in it. If you hide around the corner there, they will come towards, like, where they last saw you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That was super risky for no reason.
Where's the... I think one thing that I would appreciate, though, is, like, an end-of-level marker, so you know how to, like, where to go.
I want to do an arrow that points to either the nearest enemy or the portal once you're in it.
Yeah, exactly. That would be perfect.
Yeah. Oh, John, sorry. I gotta read this.
Sure.
So this is from John, the artist who came up with mostly, I would say he's the lead artist. He says, and I quote, "The art style was heavily inspired by early PS1 and NES titles. The animation isn't far off from Rad." He's referring to Rad Skate and Destroy, one of our older games. Yeah, I believe you played it. Not a lot of people. It's a mess right now. One day we're gonna go back and fix it. But anyway, animation isn't far off from Rad. That's true. It's pretty similar. He didn't have the same intention to create nostalgic or old console aesthetic, but we kind of got there. The biggest hurdle we ran into early on was path. Oh, we talked about this already. Anyway, you're supposed to John. Dumbass. One of our original ideas was a game where you switch between 2 heroes. So it was still a top-down shooter, but you would like switch between either a shield and a gun or something like that. But we just couldn't think of how to make them unique. You know what I mean? Like the 2 characters being different enough that it was like a complete reversal of your role. Because either way, your role is still kind of killing enemies. And yeah, we couldn't think of ways to implement passive and active style for the characters. It would have also been a lot more artwork. End quote. I mixed in kind of my own thoughts with his quote, but
that's all right.
You get I speak on behalf of John. He agrees, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I'm sure this has come up, but like the walls being gray is easy enough to tell apart on most of the levels, but there is that one where the floor is like black and white, and then the walls being gray is a little hard to differentiate.
Yeah, that's another thing. So as I was making the level at the last second, I also made the backgrounds just as something to differentiate them. And like I said, that was in the last like 20 minutes of the jam.
Yikes.
I should have spent more time picking those. We're gonna get post jam already working. We're gonna get some wall tiles in. We're gonna get some floor tiles. It's gonna look a lot better after the jam.
Nice. Hey, I beat all the levels.
Congratulations. That's not easy. That last one, Hollow Earth, is a tough one.
You do get like surrounded by a lot of enemies because you have a lot of large open areas.
Yeah, exactly.
Leviathanix? This one over here?
It's supposed to be Leviathan 9, as in like I or humans.
Oh.
The font is not great either.
Yeah, this one wasn't too hard because I could mostly like funnel people down hallways. I think there is a general approach that you can have towards just kind of edging forward, shooting enemies before they can get an opportunity to shoot back at you, and then like they don't do anything to try to like go around or surround you. So the player is very powerful, and it feels good. Like especially because you would stand to lose a lot if you died. Like, because some of these levels, I mean, what, there's like 40 guys in one of these?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, I mean, I've never played Hotline Miami, but the gameplay seems very reminiscent of that.
Yes, that's another huge inspiration. I think everything I do at this point is inspired by Hotline Miami. That's one of my favorite games of all time.
So I think that, I mean, so you can tell me then, the levels, are they shorter in Hotline Miami? Like shorter but more of them? Or would you say about this length?
About the same length. There's definitely more levels.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean the levels are, there's a lot more like you said, smaller rooms. Hotline Miami also has a thing, you press Alt or something and you can look like away from your character, so you can look further down halls and stuff and kind of plan out your route. That would have been good to have. I have now. I mean, it does it a bit when you move your mouse around, but
yeah,
like obviously being able to look further would help a lot, especially on some levels. I'm glad you said that you felt powerful though, because then when you lose your gun, I hope you felt the opposite, right? Powerless, as though your role was reversed. I'm trying so.
No, that's fine.
You did your best with the theme.
I do like the sort of frantic feeling that you get when you're like trying to recover your gun. I almost wish it happened more often, but kind of the optimal way to play the game is to just like snipe enemies from a distance before they can shoot you. So I don't know, like you might have to do something where, I don't know, your bullets like only travel so far before they just like slow down and then don't hurt things, or
that's a good one.
Just something that limits your range so that you can't just abuse the enemy engagement distance.
I think this could be fixed, a lot of this too, with just level design. Like that would help if there wasn't just giant open rooms.
Yeah, I mean it's tricky. Like I made a game that was also like a similar top-down style to this. Let's see. Will showing a game that I made before crash the stream? It's from a while ago.
I played all your games.
It's this one. It's called There's a Zombie in My Closet.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't played that one.
Yeah, so it's a game that you also play from a top-down perspective, and it's mostly melee-based. There is a gun that you can pick up, and you... it's actually like... This is kind of a recurring thing with my games, is that it's very like timing-based. So you can't just like punch, win. Your character will punch at a very deliberate speed, so that if you time it out, you will always be able to fight one zombie no problem. If there's two zombies walking towards you, you have to punch back up, like sort of use the like create distance. If there's three zombies, you have to like panic, run around, like find a door to hide behind, because you're like the pace at which you sort of punch is not well tuned. So the all that's to say, I totally sympathize with the difficulty of creating a like top-down room, like enemy-based encounter like this, because it's very difficult, and I was doing it in the context of a like both characters only have melee weapons. Effectively, like zombies just deal damage to you when they get up close to you. But when both characters have guns, I mean, I would say then it becomes a little closer to... Where's the asset pack game? Here we go. Pocket RPG tile set, which is not just a tile set, but also a playable game.
I haven't played this one.
Sorry?
I haven't played this. I'm a real fan.
Sorry, let me turn your audio up a bit. It's just a little muffled.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, were you saying you have or have not played this one?
I have. I'm a fan. Okay. I'm a real fan. I beat this whole game.
Yeah, I think someone left this comment of like, play through the entire thing. It's like, oh, that's, it's very nice of you to say. But yeah, you easily run into the same problem where like if enemies only react to you at a certain distance, then you kind of have to like push the player into the situation where they're going to be ambushed constantly, because otherwise you just snipe everything from a distance. It's a little easier in this game because you have magic that I can just make it like poof away at a certain distance. It's hard to sort of justify that with a gun.
I mean, you can just do. It's a video game. It's like what's. But yeah, I think that would be a good thing. I really want to think. I gotta look at Hotline Miami now to see how they do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, see what the spacing is. I think a lot of the time they just don't spawn enemies. Like people come out of doors or
Yeah, doors. That's exactly what it is in Hotline Miami. You can't shoot into other rooms if the doors are shut.
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna look into that.
All right. So yeah, I think that the core gameplay loop is really like you do feel powerful, and I'm just wondering, like, can you do more to sort of play in that risk reward?
Oh.
This is what I was going to say. In there's a zombie in my closet. You have weapons that you can pick up. You can also throw at enemies. And it was going to be a mechanic in the game where you have a flashlight and you can throw the flashlight at an enemy to sort of like attract them around corners, but then you can't see, so you're kind of in a vulnerable state. So if you had a bit more of a mechanic where it takes a really long time to reload in this game, so that you it's actually optimal to throw your gun at an enemy to maybe knock them out, and then you have to punch them to get their gun and then use that, and you could see if like playing in that space made any sense.
Like voluntarily losing your gun. Yeah, I actually like that.
Just because it would actually incentivize players to engage with that system. If they're like, oh heck, I'm out of bullets, but I'm surrounded. Now, that being said, it's still hard to... Like, if you have unlimited ammo, then the game still incentivizes you to, like, take 3 shots, reload, before another enemy rounds the corner. Take, like, 2 more shots. Like, kill this guy, reload, kill this guy, reload. But if you actually, like, couldn't reload, like, if you actually had to scavenge bullets off the ground, then it might make more sense to... shoot me. Stormtrooper. Buddy. There we go. Then yeah, maybe like if you actually made it so that you couldn't reload unless you scavenged a weapon off of an enemy.
Yeah, that would force you to engage more with the kind of counter thing.
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
So
that is what I've heard.
It is almost like I'm realizing how powerful this move is. Like, okay, one-on-one, there's almost no way that a single enemy can... Oh, I see. Your punches don't necessarily kill in one shot.
No, they just do 1 damage, so yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same as being shot by a bullet.
Yeah.
So I would say look at how Hotline Miami does that. Also look at... have you played any of the recent Doom games?
I haven't, but I'm familiar with Eternal. I believe. I think there's like a GMTK video on it, right? I think that's...
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's one thing to watch the video, it's another thing to like actually experience that. I didn't buy Doom, the latest one. I played it through a free trial of Xbox Game Pass, so they're always giving away like free month of Xbox Game Pass, free month of this, whatever. So maybe you can do something similar. Just like look through the list of all the games on that service, find a few you're interested in trying, redeem a free trial, play the games, and then unsubscribe so they don't ever charge you.
So yeah, free games glitch working.
Yeah, but I do think it is worth playing. Like, just because Doom is so freaking extra, and it's totally like, I don't care for the violence and the hype, the gore and all this other stuff, but it commits so hard that you just kind of end up smiling your way through it. And I there are definitely people out there who are totally in the pocket for that kind of aesthetic. It's not for me, but it didn't stop me from enjoying the gameplay. Because you just feel very powerful as Doom guy. And I think that there's a lot about it that I do appreciate. And there's a lot about like traditional Halo gameplay, which I like. I like only having 2 guns at a time. And I've heard people say like, oh, all first-person shooters should have 8 guns at all times like Doom. It's like, I like the elegance of just hitting one button and toggling between two guns and having to trade those out situationally for when, like based on the current encounter. And
Yeah, that's such a silly take to say all games should have anything.
and yet there are people who just are very opinionated in saying like Doom games and those are like the right way to do an FPS and Halo is the wrong way to do an FPS. And it's just like, I think it's an overgeneralization. I think that both games have a space in people's heart, and some people are going to prefer one flavor of game. And like they're both in the first-person shooter genre, but like they both have lessons to learn in terms of the approach to design. Like I really liked Doom. I didn't finish it. Not just because I ran out of time on the 2-month or whatever trial, but because I actually got bored of the platforming. Like, the game is punctuated by, like, it alternates between masterfully crafted first-person shooter gameplay mechanics, and then just some of the worst first-person platforming, like, it just really pads out the game in a really uncomfortable way that's like, I didn't really care for the story because I didn't play the first one, so I didn't really have any context for what was going on. And yeah, I just think that it was a game that, as interesting as it was, like I've played through the Halo games several times, so you know, I never want to speak disparagingly of people's games and game preferences unless you're Bennett Foddy. No, I'm hoping to make that a bit of a recurring joke on this channel that Bennett Foddy is the only game creator that I will openly hate and deride his games.
I think the original was his game was cool. It's the ones that copy it that kind of give it a bad rap. Like if it was just the one game.
If he made like co-op and released it for free, I think that's fine. But it was the point that I made in the last interview as well, is just like I think that stops being okay when you start charging money for people suffering. Like,
I actually didn't know getting over it costs money.
Doesn't it?
I don't know. It might. I've never played it. Actually, I had no idea. I always just assumed it was free.
Pretty sure it costs money. Yep, $8.
No, you're right. Yeah, I just looked it up. It's $9.
Yeah, $9 Canadian. So
I think I got it for free through Humble at one point. But
yeah. Anyway, we don't need to get into that again. Like I don't want to spend too much time talking about that. But yeah. I would definitely say that even if I didn't enjoy Doom, it's not fair to say. I had a very complex interaction with Doom, but I found it very interesting and worthwhile as a gameplay experience. Like, I think it's a game that if you are interested in game design, like just in general, it is worth experiencing because they have really created an incredibly tight loop, and it's a game that you feel like a badass when you play it. Like there's literally an ability, an upgrade you get for your sniper rifle, where when you scope in on an enemy, it locks on to their weak point. So it makes quick scoping a built-in mechanic. Because when you quick scope on an enemy, it gives you the aim assist. So you quick scope on something, shoot it, and you deal like a critical hit on it. And then you scope out, and then you go and put some other shots into it, and it feels awesome because quick scoping in general seems like this pro gamer move, and the game has that built in. So that's what I mean when I say like they've done that and other things like it to just make you feel like a total badass when you play the game, and I think it is. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on why I think it's worth playing Doom. Now, back to your game. But no, the whole reason I was bringing it up is because I think even though Doom is a 3D first-person shooter, there are still lessons to learn from it that you can implement in other game contexts, especially because your game also has this loop of shoot with gun, lose gun, desperate moment, recover weapon. It did kind of map in my mind onto that same sort of gameplay loop that Doom has. So.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with. Like I said, I haven't played it, but from what I've seen, that connection makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So anyway, You mentioned there are a couple things that you had in mind for a post-gen version of the game, but like, do you have much else planned that you wanted to talk about?
Um, Mostly the art. For this game, we got. I don't know if I'm gonna go back and do another pass over the AI because that's gonna take my sanity away, and I think it's good enough for. We'll just call it a post-jam version and not like a full game.
Hmm.
What else? There was a couple of things. Oh, the arrow pointing to the nearest enemy or the portal.
Yes, yes.
That would help a lot. We're gonna change the portal to like a spaceship, just because the portal. Some people I saw them play it and they had no idea what that was. They didn't know it was like the end of the level or whatever.
Right.
Even some of the comments mentioned it, so we're just gonna make it a bit more clear, I guess. Having the amount of enemies left just on screen rather than having to go to the portal to see it. Just some quality of life stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to make some actual levels instead of this.
Sounds good. You know what? Before you even, no, let me see if I can find this. Before you even worry about trying a free trial of Doom. Man, there was a jam game that I did an interview with the developer. Let me see if I can find it. I mentioned to everybody that if you look at the other tabs of the queue, you can see other interviews I've done. You can also check out this list of all interviews I've done. So, holy cow, we're over like 350, and that is not even including some of the latest game jams. So Dino, Control F, Dino. Yes. Okay, here we go. I was looking at
Captain Dino. I watched you
Yes.
interview this guy, and I played so much of this game with your interview.
Yes, everyone should check out Captain Dino Hater. They managed, they did a great job at distilling the core gameplay loop of Doom, but in this context where you are like shooting a gun and then like ditching it, throwing it at enemies when it's about to overheat, and then like going and picking up a new gun. So if you recall your experience with this game, I can really imagine this loop mapping very well onto 6 arms, 6 shots. So I will link that in
should
chat.
make the gun explode.
It's just a really good mechanic. Like,
Yeah,
it plays very well.
yeah, this game is so good.
That is a game name, yes. Holy cow. That was made
Poor guy.
for... Wow, what was that? What was that even made for? I don't...
That was Unstable, wasn't it? The
Oh, yes.
when we did. That's the one where we made the candle game. Oh my god. Candle coffee.
Yeah.
Jar.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you can see that's like... It's not even... So here's all the GMTK 2021 interviews. That was for Ludum Dare, as you said. There's Tiled Together.
Still tiled together on there.
Yeah. This is this spreadsheet, by the way, is available, linked on the Discord, I believe. Yeah, I think it's also here in this stream info tab. People can click on the wrong thing. Yeah, you can check out the music that's featured on the stream. You can have a watch past interviews of In Bits of Wisdom. This spreadsheet is a comprehensive list of not only the interviews, but like small bite-sized. Yeah, there's even like 64 of these, and this is not even necessarily up to date because I have to go in and update these manually. But yeah, so for anyone who wants to check out past interviews, there are so many. But yeah, I think that's about good for us to wrap things up. If you do make
wait, you gotta ask your famous question, right?
Oh, you mean like wait?
My favorite game maker hack. I came ready.
Oh, okay. I mean, I kind of changed that.
Oh,
So
sorry, I'm a fake fan. I haven't watched.
no, what you're alluding to is the original batch of interview questions that I came up with was like, what's your favorite hack in like that people might not know about, and a lot of the time I just had people answering with something like they didn't really have a good response. So I changed that specific question to be, what's the most difficult problem you encountered during the jam? What was your solution? Because a lot of the time people just say like, oh, I had trouble coming up with an idea for the theme. But every once in a while you get like just a really specific insight on like, oh wow, people really like had an interesting problem and a very creative solution. So that's why I kind of liked the direction that that particular question went in. But if you have one ready for us, then please go ahead and tell us.
For all your games, never, ever, ever set any value. Lerp it. Lerp all your values. Set the target value and lerp to it. Lerp your positions, lerp your angles, lerp everything. Your game will just look so much better, and it's so easy to do.
And is that like, so is movement on a lerp or?
Okay, not movement. Listen, this game's a bad example, but in general, like the camera position is, what else? This game is a bad example, like I said.
Okay.
But usually lerp everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, even those graves, as they come out, they have a set speed, and that speed lerps itself towards 0.
Right.
They kind of like slam them on the ground.
So it means that they like get hit and then turn into that RIP sign, but it's not like they just appears there. They kind of like skids into place.
Yeah, exactly. Based on obviously the direction of the bullet that hit them.
Yeah, and I'll one up you on that. It's like, don't just use linear interpolation. Like try quadratic or try like other kinds of curves that.
I didn't even know that existed.
Well, it depends. Like it's not necessarily available in GameMaker by default, but you can write your own interpolation things. There's a great website for that. Lerp.
But if you lerp and you put like one of the values that you're changing as the first argument, it does like a non-linear. It does
yes,
that's
kind of a hacky way of doing it, but interpolation.
Well, that's pretty much how all my games work.
Oh man, there's a great website, and I swear I had this at a bookmark at one point, but it shows you. Basically, it's just the difference between like a linear interpolation is just a straight line. Then you've got like slow in, slow out. You've got fast in, then slow, like fast in, fast out. Fast in, slow out. No, I'm not drawing them right, but there are a surprising number of different curves you can play with that achieve different looks. Yeah, I haven't drawn the curve that goes like that. There we go. That's slow in, slow out.
I guess so. Yeah, fast in, slow out would be the one I use.
Easings.net.
Like I said, I just put the first value in as the first argument.
Thank you so much, Dino. This is exactly what I was looking for. So yeah, you can see ease in, ease out. Cubic is cubic or quintic or even circular. Like I think this one is relatively easy to implement, but you can sort of see the implementation of this, and the equation behind it is not even that hard to implement. Like here's the mathematical function defined down here. So yeah, this is a great website, and this like ease in out cubic is one of the ones that I use very often in my day job. And then you can also like have values bounce. It looks weird to like bounce in. I think it makes more sense to bounce out. But yes, thank you so much for linking that, Dino. That is exactly the website I was looking for. Anyway,
okay.
So
well, he one-upped my tip, but yeah, my tip is just to put the value you're changing as first argument.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I've done that exact thing in various situations, but now that I've spent a little more time, like, you don't have to implement all of those different options that you see on easings.net. Like, I swear, the linear interpolation, the quadratic ease and out, or the cubic, sorry, that you use those ones like so often. All right, so I think
definitely am looking into that.
On that note, we will wrap things up. But Sam, thank you so much for joining me on the stream and showing off 6 arms, 6 shots.
Excellent. Thanks to you for having me again.
It's
always a pleasure.
Yeah. Later. Bye for now.
See ya.